Hi everybody, I'm Mary Rose Feldman. I'm a Certified Zentangle Teacher and an artist. Welcome to my studio. I thought today in this class we would work with a little tangleation of a tangle called Nehphi. We're going to go through the step outs of that together so that you can see how it was originally done, and then we're going to kind of flip it on its head a little bit for our tile. It's going to be nice, gentle tangling. I'm going to tangle on a regular square Zentangle tile, regular square, 3.5-inch square is what that is. But I invite you to do this on anything you want. In these classes, I like to encourage you to explore your own creativity, your own path, your own style. If you get an inspiration in the middle of class and you want to put something on a different angle than I'm doing it, I encourage that. I want this to be creative play for you, inspired by Zentangle, mindful, no mistakes, all the principles that we practice in our Zentangle world. Nice, like I call it, gentle tangling. So that's what we're going to do, but as always, we're going to start with a mindful moment of gratitude. So just sit nice and tall in your seat. You can pause the video and take longer if you'd like. Just bring all of your senses together and focus on your inhale and your exhale. You could go at your own pace with that. We're just getting all of our senses connected with how we're feeling. Affirmation for class: I invite joy into my life. I invite joy into my life. Take a nice, good, deep breath and have your own moment of gratitude. And when you're ready, you can come back and continue. So this is one of my affirmations cards. For those who don't know, I have an affirmation deck for tangling. And before every class, I randomly pull a card. I shuffle and I randomly pull a card. A lot of people like to see what the card is that I pulled. So this is what I have for today. Okay, so let's practice our tangle. Sorry, I pulled the wrong piece of paper. And I'm just going to grab a regular pen. Doesn't matter what we practice with. And this is a tangle called Nehphi. And it is by Nehphi Agrawal. And we're going to start with pencil on this. And to teach this, I like to do the base in pencil. So you have this S curve, and that S curve can go either direction. And then you start at the tip and you have this wide path that comes down to a point. And then this one kind of rides the point a little bit and then widens out that way. So that's roughly the shape of the standard Nehphi. So I'm going to go to my pen now and I'm going to trace that stem. So we could have done that stem directly in pen, but that's okay. And the cool thing with Nehphi is that one side has auras that are horizontal, more horizontal, and one side has auras that are more vertical. And it gives us this cool contrast. I like to do the pencil line because I can make those auras wrap around the pencil line. So this side is going to be my horizontal side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little curve with a hook. The hook goes outside that pencil line and then comes in. So see how I went outside that pencil line. And I'm going to keep these closer together, and they're going to be somewhat horizontal. They might angle a little bit. You could see I have a natural S-curve flow to my pen. But for the most part, they're a bit horizontal and closer together. But the other side is different. They're going to be more vertical and they're going to be more spaced out. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hook up here outside the pencil line, but I'm going to come vertical and connect. Leave a little bit of a bigger space, vertical and connect. Vertical and connect. Maybe I could get another one in there, maybe not. But there's less on this side just because of the angle. If we try to do one here, the angle's kind of off the stem. And then all you do is you connect from the top down. You connect behind that hook, so that hook ends up sitting on the pen line. And then you can color that in. Do a takeoff on the outer curve and then land on the inside and color it in. So it's kind of I'm kind of doing an S curve like that. And this is a little bit of flair. You don't have to do the edges this fancy. This is just how I normally do it. And you'll get to the point that you won't need that pencil line. You'll just be able to do those auras without the pencil line, because I'll come back in and erase that. And then we're going to connect here. This one's more of a C curve and a C curve. So that is the original Nehphi. We are going to play with this a little bit, though. We are going to start with pencil, and we are not going to do a center stem. I'm going to come out like this, and I'm going to come out like that. So this Tangleation came about when I was doing my Tangleations course in my Teachable school. And it was one of my favorites. So I'm just going to brighten this up here for you. It was one of my favorite Tangleations, and I love just playing around with this. So we are going to follow the rhythm of horizontal and vertical. But we're going to alternate. And we're going to get this wrapping. So the first thing we're going to do is, just like we did before, I'm going to hook around here. I'm going to do a little bit of a horizontal, and then I'm going to hook around there. So it's an S curve, similar to what we do with perk. And I'm going to aura that immediately. I'm going to leave a little bit of space, and I'm going to do another one. A bit horizontal. Okay, and now I'm going to go to the other side, and I'm not going horizontal, I'm going vertical now. So same as we did over here, I'm going to hook around that pencil line. I'm going to draw behind the ribbons that are there. I'm going more vertical, and I'm going to hook here. And I'm going to aura immediately. So in this video, I'm going to go at my own pace. If you need to pause the video, just do that at any point. I'm just doing this for the size of the video. And then I'm going to switch to the other direction. So because I have more horizontal than vertical, I'm going to do 2 horizontal to every 1 vertical. So I'm going to go back to horizontal, draw behind. Anytime I hit anything, I'm going to draw behind, Holaba style. So yes, these are getting a little less vertical. I just wasn't thinking about that very well. And then I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to figure out where my next vertical is. I would normally put it about here, but that's right where the hook is. So I'm going to go here. And then I'll go back to horizontal. I can probably get 2 more in. Remember to aura these. If you don't aura them, you won't have a way to draw behind. And I fit 1 more in. Yeah, it's a bit curvy, but I don't mind that. It gives it movement. And then I'll do 1 more vertical. Okay, and that is a tangle. Oh, we have to do the edges. Then I'll come in and I'll fill in my edges just like I did. So you might notice that I like to, when I have a hook like that on a line, we want to bring the side, the edge, so that the hook has something to land on. So that's how you know where to put the side edge. If you look right here, I put the line so the hook has something to land on, but the hook on this one is on the other side. So all I'm going to do here is just connect those 2 outer curves. The hook for here and the hook for here are both going towards each other. They both need a line to land on, so I'm going to do a line here and I'm going to do a line here. So when you're doing something like this, your connecting edge isn't always the same. Go with what is presented to you as far as where the direction of those curves. And it will all be fine. Okay, so this is our tangleation of Nehphi, and this is what we're going to do on our tile today. So you can grab your Zendala, I keep saying Zendala, I don't know why today, your Zentangle tile, regular square tile. I will show you the image because I may reference it. My caution when I show images in class, though, is that you do not try to copy it. When you try to have an image in front of you and you're constantly referencing it and copying it, it changes your pen stroke. It changes your pen grip. It changes your mindfulness. It changes your body posture. It changes your focus. So I don't mind showing you the image, but I ask that you don't keep it in front of you and that you don't try to copy it exactly. Your tile should look different than mine. It should be inspired by mine, but it should be your own hand. So that's just my caveat whenever I show a tile ahead of time in any of my classes. So this is where we're going. Like I said, it's going to be nice, gentle tangling. We're going to do an orb in the center, and then we're going to pencil in our shapes, and then we're going to fill in our weaving of the Nehphi, and then I'll tell you about this other tangle shortly after that. So the first thing I want to do is put in my orb, and this is not centered. Notice that it's lower part of your tile. So I'm just going to pick right here and put in my orb and pen. Grab my pencil. I'm going to put in my center Nehphi petal first. I did it a little bit opposite of what I have in my sample, but that's okay. You may like to draw them from the bottom, or you may try to draw them from the top. Okay, and then we're going to go this way. And we have something like that. I'm going to change my top edge just a little bit. I like that little dip on the other side for some reason. Something like that. Okay, so we have that. And now I'm going to work my center petal first. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to put my 2 horizontals. And I may switch to my 01. This is a newer pen, so it's a little thick for me. So I did my 2 horizontals with my aura. And then I'm going to do my vertical. So at this point, we're just going to follow that process for this petal. I did this petal first. That's going to be on top, and then I'll do these 2. And we'll get into a little bit of a repetition. I'll be quiet for a little bit so you can enjoy the tangling. And when you get to the point where your leaves overlap, I'm drawing behind the leaf because I might not see the edge of the band. And if your bands are getting a little wonky, I had a couple places where I just had to improvise a little bit. Things overlapped a little bit where I wasn't expecting. Just go with it. It'll all be fine. You're going to get the weaving effect, no problem. Once your pen is dry, you can go ahead and erase. Just make sure your pen is dry. And you don't have to erase. We are going to add shading to this. My philosophy on an eraser in a Zentangle practice is that it is a tool. I don't mind it as a tool as long as it's not impacting your pen stroke. Meaning, if you're worried about trying to be perfect and you're using your eraser over and over and over again because you want to be perfect, then I'm going to encourage you to put your eraser away. But in short doses, as a tool, I don't mind it if it's not changing your creative play. Okay, so there's my Nehphi Tangleation. We're going to do another tangle called Arkham Arc and this is by Lynn Hensley. And this is a cute little tangle for small spaces. Just simply, it is a rice shape colored in. An aura around the rice shape. And then you're going to gradually bring up little fescues from that point that curve up and around. And how they curve and how high they go is really up to you. But it's a really cute little tangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Arc and in the corners of my Nehphi and in the corners of the tile, just to give us something else. You can also just put fescue in here, or you might have another tangle that you like better. I'm keeping with the gentle tangling of class, so I did not overpack this tile. There's plenty of room for additional playtime, but I wanted to make sure that the class was relatively short and relatively gentle tangling. As you tangle, just remember to keep your writing hand relaxed. Keep a nice loose pen grip. Remember to take deep breaths every now and then. All of those things seem simple, but they really make a difference in your experience and creating process. I would normally be turning my tile a bit more in these corners and for this tangle. I'm trying to leave it under camera as much as I can. Especially with being zoomed in, I don't want to get off screen. So there we go. And you can keep tangling. Please tangle at your own pace. Just pause the video if needed. No stress, no worries. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and shade my Nehphi variation. I'm going to use my regular Zentangle pencil. We're going to do very basic shading. So when I use graphite and when I shade, I take the tip of my pencil and I point it towards the darkest area that I want to shade, which is towards that black line. And I'm going to shade the inside edge of each of the Nehphi petals. Leaves. I'm holding my pencil horizontal. It's one of the Zentangle short pencils, but even with longer graphite pencils, I like a horizontal grip because it avoids the sharp pencil line. When you use a pencil vertical, you get a really thin, sharp pencil line. Sometimes it's hard to smudge that away with a tortillon. So by using the side, I'm using a little bit of a softer graphite application. And then I'll smudge that with my tortillon. I'm actually using a paper stump right now, which is rolled, not rolled, it's molded paper, so it's solid. I go back and forth. I like both tools. A tortillon is rolled paper, and the tip is a bit harder. A smudger, roll or molded paper, paper stump, has a couple different names, is a little bit softer, so sometimes I don't use it for detail work. But the nice thing with the paper stump is that you can shave the tip with a razor and you can get a brand new tip, and you can use it all the way down since it's hard and solid. But they both are in my basic kit. I like both of them. And for me, they both have a purpose. Okay, so there's our inside edges. And then what we're going to do is with our graphite, I'm going to shade the overlap. Now this is a delicate step. You want a sharp point and just good control of your graphite. And I want to shade where each band overlaps. And this is what I call tight shading, because we don't want to blend this out very far. Even in this little space, I want to try to maintain that highlight. When you're shading, if you want to have contrast, if you make everything dark, there's no contrast. If you make everything bright, there's no contrast. You need darks and lights. So I'll do this one and smudge it so that you can see. It's very gentle. And this, I would prefer to do my little tortillon instead of my paper stump, but this is handy right now. I'm just blending the edges of where I put graphite. I'm trying not to take away the dark graphite that I put up against the line. And there you go. So now you've got some depth in there. So the longer the space you have, the more you can blend it. The shorter the space you have, the more delicate you're going to need to be. And on these little areas, I'm not turning my tile to get my pencil point oriented in the right direction. Remember that as you blend with your tortillon or paper stump, it picks up graphite. So you might have to clean that off on a piece of paper or an emery board at some point. If your graphite's getting a little sloppy where you're putting it and where you're smudging it, you might just need to clean off your tortillon. So you can see mine's gotten pretty dark, so I'm going to the other end, which is a little bit cleaner. Okay, and then if I were doing this in private tangling time, I would come in and probably make the edges a little bit darker. I usually do a 2-round graphite shading. I do the first layer that's medium pressure, and then I will come back in and add darker corners and things like that. But I think you get the idea for this tile that we want to be gentle tangling. I think this shading is fine. I'm also going to add shading where my top leaf overlaps the other two. I'm going to add some pretty decent shading there, just to give us a little bit of depth there. And I would probably even go a second round. And you can play with that as much as you want. And the last thing I'm going to do on the tile is just with the side of my graphite pencil, I'm just going to give us a nice, gentle graphite border. I do this a lot when I just want soft edges, just to soften maybe the brightness of the paper around the edge. It's a nice, easy way to finish off a tile simply and quickly. And I can always come back and put tangling there. Always remember your chop. Today for me is the 6th, but you can put down whatever date you're doing this class. All right, take a nice, good deep breath. appreciate the time you just took for tangling, creativity, mindfulness, and just grounding. It's always a good break to get pen in our hands and have a nice breath. If you enjoyed this type of tangleation, you can also check out other versions of Nehphi in my Tangleations course in my Teachable School. I do several different patterns in that little bundle, and for this one of my favorites, Nehphi is one of my favorites. There's several pages of variations of this tangle for all of your creative fun. But until next time, have a great day. I will see you later. Bye. I hope you enjoyed that class and a little bit of tangle time for yourself and a good breath and a moment of gratitude. If you want a free class from me every month, all you have to do is join my email list. And I do a free full class every month that's usually about an hour and a half. You will also get access to a private web page that has all of the studio classes for that month and prior that you have full access to at any time, and that's a private web page, not public, that only the people on my email list get. And all I do is send a Monday email. It gives you updated class information about my upcoming retreat every year, new things that are coming out, interesting things happening in the studio. So every Monday you'll get an email with all of that information plus an affirmation to help you boost you through your week ahead. So check the link in the description here and also in the description of this class, and you'll be able to sign up on your own. You can unsubscribe anytime if those needs don't fit you anymore. You can unsubscribe at any time. There's no obligation. I'd love to have you here for whatever time you have available, for whatever time in your creative and mindful journey. I'd love to have you here. So thanks for watching. Bye.